So friends, now time to start the lecture today. And the topic which I'm starting, this is foreign trade policy. So those who are attending lecture for the first time today, please keep your pen and notebook ready and keep on noting everything being written on the board. This is required for further revision. And if you miss this, it is gone forever. Please do not miss. Keep on taking notes for everything that is being done here in the classroom. Okay. Now the concept is what is called a foreign trade. Foreign trade. This word is simply related to import and export. So what foreign trade implies? Import and export. Now, import and export of what? This may be of goods, this may be of services, and services includes technology also. So foreign trade means import, export of goods, services, as well as technology. Now, import, export is governed by multiple laws which are governing the foreign trade. Which are those? First law that governs the foreign trade, that is called Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act 1992. Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act 1992. Here is very important. This itself can be a reason for framing one MCQ. So this is Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act. And under this act, two sections are really very important, or rather three sections are very important for you. One is section 5. Section 5 of this act authorizes the central government to make the foreign trade policy. Section 7 provides for, rather 7 and 8, this provides for importer exporter code number. Section 11 provides for penalties. Section 15 provides for appeal. And section 16 provides for review and revision. So the foreign trade policy has been framed by the central government. Yogesh ji, what you said is absolutely correct. Services always include technology, but technology is not something on paper, right? But intentionally that is kept separately because in the Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act, a specific reference of technology has been given. Otherwise, certainly that is covered in services. Okay. So, Section 5 authorizing the government to make the foreign trade policy. Now, which government is making the foreign trade policy? It is obviously the central government. What is applicable throughout the country, that is to be made by the central government, that is obvious. Okay. Every person who is willing to import export the goods commercially is required to have the importer exporter code number as per section 7 and 8. Commercial import and export. And under section 8, due to violation of the provisions of the FTDRA or the terms and conditions of the authorization given, the importer exporter code number can be suspended or it can be cancelled. Penalties can be imposed under section 11. What is the maximum penalty that can be imposed? That is up to 10,000 rupees or 5 times of the value of the goods in relation to which offence has been committed, whichever is more. And where the appeal can be filed, that depends upon who has passed the order of penalty. So the order of penalty has been passed by DGFT, then appeal is required to be filed before the central government. And if the order is passed by an officer below the rank of DGFT, then appeal is to be filed with the DGFT. So this is the revision for you. We have already done these provisions in detail. Right. So this is Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act. And which is the highest authority under FTDRA? Which is the highest authority under FTDRA? Highest authority under FTDRA is Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT. Right. What is the role of DGFT there? Role of DGFT I'm writing here. Number 1, advising the central government on foreign trade policy. His role is purely advisory. When it comes to making of the policy, who's making the policy? Policy is being made by central government. What is the role of DGFT in that? The role of the DGFT is purely advisory. So DGFT is advising the central government what should be there in the policy, what should not be there. Number 2, this is implementation of foreign trade policy. Main role of the DGFT. Number one, advising the central government on framing or making of the foreign trade policy. And number two, implementation of the foreign trade policy. That is the role of DGFT. Okay. Then second law, which is relevant for the foreign trade, that is customs. In customs, again, two authorities, or rather two acts. One is Customs Act 1962, another is Customs Tariff Act 1975. Under customs, we have two acts, Customs Act as well as Customs Tariff Act, right? And these two acts deal with levy and collection of duty on import or export of goods only. Only goods. Customs law, Customs Act, Custom Tariff Act, both of them do not deal with the services or technology. Only goods. Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act, this is providing for goods and services both. Under the foreign trade policy, we have goods and services both. But as far as Customs Act is concerned, this is only about goods. Right? And then regulating import, export to a certain extent. This Customs Act cannot regulate entirely. So that's why it is regulating import, export to a certain extent. What is that? What it does, that we'll see later when we come to the customs law. Okay, so this is about the customs law. Which is the highest authority under the customs law? Highest authority under the customs law. Here the highest authority is Yogesh ji, this is CBIC. Keep on writing your answers in the chat. Okay, I'm continuously watching that. Okay, highest authority is CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. And this comes under Ministry of Finance. Okay, so this is customs. Next thing, which regulates import export to a certain extent, that is FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Foreign Exchange Management Act. This is year 1999. In this act, highest authority is RBI. And what FEMA does, this deals with responsibility of every resident in relation to Forex. What is the responsibility of every resident in connection with the foreign exchange? So Act certainly defines who is the person resident, what is the meaning of foreign exchange, what is the meaning of foreign currency, what is inflow, what is outflow, everything is defined there. It is imposing a responsibility on every person who is resident in India. In a nutshell, under FEMA Section 8, that says every person who is resident in India to whom any income accrues in foreign exchange or foreign currency, then that amount of foreign exchange should be brought to India at the earliest possible. ध्यान से सुनिए क्या कहता है Section 8. Every person, where the provisions are applicable, every person who is resident in India, and if any income accrues to him in foreign exchange, means the income is coming from outside India, that income should be brought to India at the earliest possible. Responsibility, right? Number two, how to bring that? Somebody coming from outside India, he happens to be your relative, can you get the cash? Law says no. FEMA says all remittances, all forex remittances, whether inward remittance or outward remittance, has to be through the banking channel only. Then that is the proper inflow. Okay. So, Vipul, your answer is that you are saying if a person is doing job outside India, he is not considered the person resident in India for the purpose of FEMA. Okay. So for the purpose of FEMA, definition of person resident is different. For income tax, the definition is different. Okay, so if a person who's already a resident or citizen of India, if he goes out for the purpose of employment, the day he goes out, on the very same day, he ceases to be a person resident in India as far as FEMA is concerned. He becomes person resident outside India. So Vipul, आपको answer मिला? Okay, so that's all. So first is responsibility. Number two, all remittances involving forex shall be through authorized dealer. Money coming in or going out. If it is a foreign exchange, means either coming from outside India or going outside India, that becomes a foreign exchange. Currency may not be Indian, currency may not be foreign, but if it is coming to India or going from India, then that becomes a foreign exchange. So any inflow, whether inward inflow or outward inflow, must be through the proper banking channel only. The banking channel is called as authorized dealer. Authorized dealer means bank. Okay. Now, third thing under FEMA. This is regulating payments for exports. Now, the next question is, if somebody is working outside India and he wants to remit money to his relatives in India or his family in India, not a problem at all. All inflows, all outflows are allowed, provided it is through the proper banking channel and the transaction is not a prohibited transaction. So remittance for maintenance of the family, either in India or for sending money from India to your relatives abroad, not a prohibited transaction. So when we do FEMA in detail later, you'll get to know what is allowed, what is not allowed. Right. Everything we will do that. Everything we will do. Today's topic is foreign trade policy we are starting. And foreign trade policy is likely to continue for minimum 10 more classes. Minimum 10, maybe more. This is the most important topic for the interview in the month of June for 23 exam. For 24 exam, I personally believe not less than 10% questions should be out of foreign trade policy. This is something new. Lots of minor and finer changes are there. Okay, lots of highlights are circulating in the market, but that is not having everything what is there in the policy. Lots of minor and finer changes have been made therein. Okay, so don't trust on what is circulating in the market, and anything which is circulating for free is bound to be useless. Okay. So what are the laws which are governing the foreign trade? Now you have in this one chart itself. Okay, customs law, in any case, this is the main area where from questions are there in the exam. FEMA, some questions are likely to be there. FTDRA and policy. So when you combine these this customs plus FTDRA plus foreign trade policy, this is 100% syllabus of your exam CPLR. 100% syllabus, right? Only challenge is that when I say Customs Act 1962, prima facie it is having 161 sections. But this is not important. What is important is rules, regulations, notifications, which are not the part of the act, but are very, very relevant for understanding law. These things will take more time than the act itself. Completing the act itself takes us around 40 to 50 lectures, then rules, regulation, notification, another 40 lectures in customs itself. Very wide and in depth. Okay. So one thing I always keep on repeating again and again, whether that makes a sense to some people or not. Self-study for a professional exam is a self-destructive decision. Self-study for professional exam. It is a self-destructive decision. Because once the result is negative, 1 year is gone. Out of 6 possible attempts, 1 attempt is gone. Right, 6 attempts are allowed. So roughly 17% is lost if 1 year is gone. If 1 year is gone, out of your professional life of 30 years, 1 year is gone. That is 3% of the life is lost. Life is not so cheap. So take very important decisions. Okay. Dedicated study of 2 hours a day. How much is required? Put it in the chat box immediately. How much required daily study? 2 hours daily. 1.5 hours in the class, half an hour at least for self-study. But that is consistency is needed. 2 hours a day, every day till the day of your exam, and your first attempt is the last attempt. If you don't follow discipline, no guarantee. if you follow the discipline, all the possibilities are first attempt is the last attempt. Okay, chaliye aage badhte hain. Now, as far as foreign trade policy is concerned, this is a policy of the year 2023. Policy is of 2023.